Hello, this is your toe reading in preparation for the Dark Moon Goddess Retreat. And when I saw your toes, I was thinking to myself, oh, this person loves to and actually needs to communicate. You are an absolute leader and you have very high intuition. I'm going to tell you in a minute how I know this from looking at your toes. So, in toe reading, the left foot is your internal self. It's your relationship with yourself internally and how that presents in your right foot, which is how others experience you and how what you're doing internally shows up externally. Now, there are no good or bad toes. There's just information that we're getting from the toes. And so when we're looking at the toes and in contrast with each other, it's simply for a point of reference. So let's start by talking about your left foot here. This is your spirit path toe and your communication with self and expression, action, relationship, and trust. Your right foot is life path, communication, action, relationship, and prosperity. So when I look at your spirit path toe and your life path toe, there's a lot of similarities here. They actually have very similar shapes and are both nicely grounded. So, whatever you're doing in your life path and your spirit path, keep doing it. It is a journey. It doesn't mean it wasn't different at one time, and it doesn't mean that it's not going to be different at another time. And for right now, you are in a great place on your life and spirit path. So, continue doing that. You do have some callousing going on here, which are protective walls that we create to protect ourselves. Bless our dear little egos who do this for us. It is for our survival. So I would recommend just gently rubbing these calluses here, and also while massaging these the toenails, just make them a little bit more healthy. And asking, what are these walls that I made? What made me create these walls? What do they look like and what are they made out of? And that's going to be a really enlightening conversation with yourself that's going to help you uncover more about the future of your life and spirit paths. This is the channel of intuition, the space between your big and second toe on your left foot. And this is the channel of leadership. And you've got this squareness in this toe. You are absolutely meant to be a leader. And I'd be curious to know how this has shown up in your life, because this is a lifelong trait of being a leader. And you are highly intuitive. Trust that intuition. It is very, very strong. Next, let's talk about your second toes. And when we look, there are some differences in these second toes. So at a halfway point in your life, you had some kind of significant emotional event. So whatever age you are now, just go back to halfway. And what happened at a halfway point in your life that you started changing the way that you expressed and communicated? And for extra brownie points, gently massage this second knuckle here and ask what happened. What was the perception? What was the energy shift that happened at that halfway point in my life with the way that I self-expressed and communicated with myself? Now, when we look at this toe, it is very straight and long. So self-expression is very important to you. And that can be done through communication, through style, through our work. Like really, everything is a means of self-expression. So what are your favorite ways to communicate? And what does that look like for you? And just a little bit of blocked energy here at the end of this toe, but the toenail, like the energy is tracking straight, just gently massaging it and seeing what are some ways that you desire to express that perhaps you're not doing right now. When we look at this toe, at that halfway point, this I'm finding this super interesting. At that halfway point in your life, you don't have that same point here, but after that, you've got quite a bit of blocked energy. So the beliefs that you took on at that halfway point in your life have carried over and have impacted how you communicate and express in the outside world with your friends, your family, your community, and humanity at large. So gently massaging this toe to just see what are these blockages in here, and then gently release them. A salt bath would feel so good and be so good for the energy of this toe to just release some of that blocked energy around your communication and expression in the outside world. Now, when we look at the last three toes, there are significant differences between what's presenting in your left foot, your internal self, and what's presenting in your right foot, in your external self. So let's talk about these. You have actually a really good relationship with yourself. There's some blocked energy that just happens, but you are an action taker. If you get the idea, you're going to do it. And I started talking about your action toe because these toes are very, very tied together. So we've got your action toe and your relationship toe. So your ability to take action for yourself, I imagine you are highly disciplined, and this is a big boon to your self-esteem and your self-awareness. So continue to take that action for yourself. If you see something, go for it. Very, very beautiful. And it just helps this relationship with yourself. Now, there is some karmic baggage in this toe here. Just gently massaging it is going to just help release that. There's really nothing here that you even need to be aware of. It's not really even yours. It's more bloodline, ancestry stuff. So just releasing that. And remember, that's going to help you, your ancestors, and your children. Now, when we look at these two toes are both curving inward towards the communication toe. So as you work on this communication toe to release that blocked energy, you're going to naturally see that these toes start to track more straight because they're saying, hey, this is step one. This is something that needs to be taken care of. Then your action toe. And again, this is mostly in this second half of your life. Where are you not taking the action that you desire to take? Even action that you know is for your highest and best good. What is it and why aren't you taking it? As you gently massage this toe, and by massaging, I would run my thumb along the top of this toe and then pull the bottom of the toe. So you're actually, if this was your toe, inviting that toe to straighten out. Also, is it stiff or is it flexible? That's also going to give you additional clues about how you're taking action. Do you dig your heels in and not take it? Or is it flexible and you're not really sure what you should be doing, but this person said you should do this, so you're going to do that? Those would be great questions to ask of this toe, especially as you are massaging it and inviting it to track straight so that your communication and your action are aligned with each other and aligned with your soul. Your relationship, this is your relationship with others. And there is, of all the toes, this is probably the one that I would work with the most. There is quite a bit of blocked energy. So, and I would recommend some journaling activities. Where are the resentments towards people that you are holding on to? Why? When did it happen? How can you nurture that inner younger you that created these resentments? And are these people that you have these resentments about still in your life? And how do these relationships need to change so that it can be more self-honoring? So massaging this toe, rubbing this toe, a little bit of oil on this toe would just feel so good to it and really start to change your relationships. I would love to hear how, if you do this for 30 days, what shifts in your relationships. Lastly, we'll talk about your prosperity and trust toes. You do have a high level of trust in yourself, and continue with that. You have every reason to trust yourself because your your intuition is so spot on. When it comes to prosperity, you can see that the relationship toe is kind of covering up this prosperity toe. So how do you feel about the sources of your prosperity. How do you experience prosperity? In what ways does your relationship with prosperity, could it benefit from a shift? These are questions that I would ask while you rub this prosperity toe. These 3 toes here, if you only have time to work on any toes, do a quick rub on these toes with that idea, and then spend most of your time on this toe here. All of your toes would love to receive some gratitude and attention. And these 4 in particular, these 3, watch them and see how they change as you work on this toe. I would invite you in 30 days, just massaging the toes with these techniques for 30 days and see how things shift in your life.